friend, you are more powerful than you know. And your perceived differences, well, they are your superpower. Let's talk about how to maximize your strengths. I'm Ashley White, the host of Joy on the Journey podcast, a weekly podcast all about defining, finding, and maintaining joy on the journey of life. This week's guest, y'all, is none other than Leah Jean Denley, known to many as Coach Leah. She is a philanthropist, multimedia content creator, and advisor. For those listening and not watching, well, you may not be able to tell, but she is strikingly beautiful, standing at a powerful 6'2". She is an advocate and co-founder of Tall Girls United. Their vision is to provide a platform and mentorship for young girls who are navigating the challenges of being tall, and to empower them to celebrate and embrace their uniqueness. I am so happy that you're here. Hey, Coach Leah.
Hey, Ashley, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all those kind words. And wow, thank you. I'm all those things. Wow.
You are all of those things and more.
Thank you.
Absolutely more. So, we start every single podcast asking guests, how do they define joy?
I define joy as something that's inside of me that no matter how I feel, if I've had just a terrible day or a lot of challenges or I'm tired, I can always feel joy. And I'm so grateful for that. That's something that has been gifted to me. Holy Spirit does not allow for me to wallow in whatever those negative feelings might be. I will always be able to find joy. And I'm so grateful.
Have you always been able to overcome and not sit in those wallowing moments?
I would say yes. I'm the ultimate optimist.
Oh, wow.
Like when the whole saying glass half full or glass half empty, I'm always the half full. Like always without a fault. It's almost to the point where people are like, okay, you're kind of sickening right now with the positivity. I have found over the years too, as a coping mechanism, is when things are really challenging or I'm in a dark place or just things just are not happening good, that I will take a moment to process it and then find whatever that learning opportunity is about that situation and go to my joyful place. And I'm, like I said, I'm grateful for that. And I've been able to do that since I was a little girl.
Wow.
Yeah. And when people talk about, traumatic periods of their lives, I didn't really know how to define what that was. I didn't have the language for that. But I did always know that I can find joy, something positive in any situation. And I feel like that, again, is that coping mechanism. Also, to overcompensate. So when things are like getting out of control or, again, just something that I'm really struggling with, then I will overcompensate by finding that joyful place. And almost to a point where people are like, that you're not real. That's you're faking that in that situation. But over time, they see that that's consistent. And so then, just getting to know me and knowing me for years, they're like, wow, no, that is really you. I'm like, yeah, I don't know any other way to be.
Was that modeled for you? Like, did you see that model, that positivity, that optimistic, was that modeled for you by a parent, by a grandparent?
Then that's a really great question. I don't know if it was necessarily modeled for me, but I was baptized at a young age, 8 years old.
Okay.
And knew at that time that I was going to be just covered. You know what I'm saying? From that point on, so that no matter whatever was going to happen to me, I was going to be covered. So that's something kind of cool to know when you're young. So if I can digress a
Absolutely.
little bit. So when I see little kids getting baptized, I am so overjoyed because I remember that, and I look at that young child as, you don't even understand how amazing your life's about to be already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because the a child, you have to know when you want to be baptized, right? You know, when you proclaimed that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and you understand that because
Right.
that's the only reason that you should be able to get baptized, right? And so by seeing other children proclaim that and then now be able to own their own type of joy, you know, even if, again, even if they can't necessarily articulate it. And I don't think early on I could articulate it, but I knew that there was something inside of me that was going to enable me to be at peace or find something wonderful about what was happening to me, even if it was terrible at that time. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Are you guys subscribed? Because Coach Leah is already inspiring all of us, if you're not optimistic, to find moments of gratitude in every day. And I hope that this podcast can be a source of joy for you every week. So go ahead, click the subscribe button and let this podcast add to your joy every week. Coach Leah, everyone has things about them that make them unique or different, but not everyone knows how to harness their power in their uniqueness. But you have, standing 6'2". When did you realize that you were tall?
Well, at a very young age. In kindergarten, I think I was as tall as my kindergarten teacher.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, yes, yes. In kindergarten, and was running around. I have an aunt, Auntie Fee, and she's my mother's youngest sister, and she's 5 foot tall. And so I was as tall as her, you know, getting ready to go to school, and I would play in her shoes, so I could wear her shoes as well. Her little, and she would have these high heel shoes, and my feet were already was already at a size 6 in women then as well. Pretty much my entire life, I've known that I'm standing ahead, head and shoulders, many times above many of my classmates and many adults. Yeah. So I learned later in life that people that are 6 foot and taller are taller than 90% of the human population.
Had you always realized that your height was an asset and not a liability?
So that's an interesting question because it's depends on the perspective. It depends on the situation. So if I can give you some real life examples
Absolutely.
of where it's maybe a liability, is when you're just doing normal things like purchasing furniture. You know what I'm saying? Because the average person can go anywhere and not even think twice about if something sits too low or too high. Maybe too high if they're shorter, right? But as a tall person, you always are keeping that into consideration because many times if it's too low, then you're going to be uncomfortable. And then somebody like me, because I have very long legs, I have a very average torso, almost to a petite torso, but very long legs. And so to sit down on something really low and then have my knees almost hitting me in my... And thank you for having these amazing pub stools for this. This is great. I love it. Another liability could be, and it wasn't so much for me because the people in my tribe, in my community, young, caught it pretty quick, is when, and you've probably seen this, when you have a taller person and they're slumped over, they're trying to make themselves just small as possible, right? And the reason is because of it's kind of a spatial thing, and you realize that you're in a space and you're taking up a lot of that space. You're feeling like, well, I don't want to take up a lot of space, and then I also don't want to stand out. You know what I'm saying? And so you naturally just kind of slump over. You put yourself to the level of the majority of the people that are in the space with you, right? So, which is terrible. So when I was about 11 or 12, my aunts and my mom would just, she would just be, stand up, and I would, but I still had this thing where my shoulders just kind of still went down. I'd sit up, but my shoulders were still down. I can't even really do it anymore because I've spent so much of my life standing up and be trying to be tall, right? And then I started taking modeling lessons.
Oh.
And so that was so cool because that's when I started really feeling good about my stature, and that knowing that in the modeling industry, people want you to be tall. At 12 years old, I'm already 5'9" though,
Wow.
which is the average height of a model.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then guess what happens? I keep growing. So now I'm considered too tall for modeling. Who would have thought
Right.
that I would be too tall to be a model?
Okay.
But yeah, so even though you see a lot of really strikingly beautiful tall women, they're still not quite 6 foot tall if they're a professional model. There are some now, but back when I was growing up, there weren't any. But so I'm saying that to say I was really happy that early on I learned how to have a straighter, taller posture, and learn how to strut, which was completely amazing. And I was able to, years later teach others and do some runway stuff. And so that was always fun. But yeah.
Excellent. I love that. So when was the game of basketball introduced, and how did that change the course of your life?
So basketball was introduced. It was actually not my first sport. My first sport was speed skating.
I'm sorry.
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so, there's tons of hockey and, ice rinks and things in the community. And I've always been an athlete, like just love just being active and things of that nature. And so I liked racing. I'd race the boys and the girls, but most of the boys around, in the neighborhood doing little races.
Uh-huh.
And so I did a little bit of track and field, but I didn't even do the track and field till after I was doing on a team or something organized, until I joined the speed skating club at the park near my home. And Phelps Park, shout out. South Side. But anyway, and so I got a pair of skates and learned how to speed skate because the Minneapolis Parks and Rec would have a citywide race. And so I was training for this speed skating. So I was just learning how to just really skate fast in a circle and all the things that you've probably seen on the Olympics and so on and so forth. Well, before I could even get to my first speed skating competition, one of the directors at the park said, "So Leah, across the street, they're doing a basketball tryout. I need you to go over there." Because again, I'm already a tall girl, right? And I was about 7 years old at the time. And so I go across the way and get into the practice, and they're, shooting baskets and whatnot. And I'm trying to shoot a basket. I'm terrible. But I could jump. Again, I'm real athletic. So I could jump, and I was fast. So I played really great defense. I could rebound. I learned how to, catch and grab onto a basketball. And so I could do that. Wasn't so good at shooting. But I didn't need to be good at shooting at that age. But that's where I kind of was first introduced to basketball. I didn't really get on any teams until middle school. I played some kind of, the street ball, out at the park,
Right.
the parks and playgrounds and things of that nature. But in middle school was when I first got on a team. And so I made the junior varsity for high school, when I was still even in middle school.
Wow.
So still wasn't good though. I was terrible as far as scoring. That's where I really saw, actually with all athletics, is where I felt a really good sense of pride and confidence. I was bullied as a child, bullied as a kid because of my height.
Wow.
Primarily. And I would get chased home, which is probably why I was fast. I mean, because kids can be cruel,
Right.
and so, but, and I never fought back. I just would run, and they couldn't catch me, so it was fine. But when it came to athletics, though, I was always one of the first picked, whether it was a boy or a girl, to be on, when you pick teams. So I was always one of the first picked. And it just, it gave me a sense of being able to have friends in the neighborhood. The bullies were still going to be the bullies, but overall, I was accepted and had friends and, that kind of thing. And we were all just played all the games that I wish my own children were able to play, just out in the neighborhood. The kickball, the flag football, the touch football, the pom pom pull away. I mean, all these. Do you even know any of these games?
You lost me at pom pom football. Okay. I'm not even going. Kickball got you. Pom pom. I was just going to nod on that.
Okay, nod it on out. Right. Well, they were all really fun games to play in the neighborhood, out in the street, or on somebody's large lot, that didn't have a house on it. You commandeered it, and that was where the kids played, that kind of thing. And
gotcha.
So, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of where the whole thing of loving basketball started primarily was in middle school when I was, oh, well, you're not going to play on the 7th grade team. We're putting you on junior varsity. I was like, wait, what? What an experience that was. Because now I'm just thrust in the midst of high school girls and things all the time. And then same thing happened for 8th grade. By 9th grade, I was put on the varsity team. And that was even a pretty interesting experience because I still wasn't very good at scoring, but could do everything else really, really well. And I guess, the coaches at the time saw that I had the ability to learn fast and to, and then I always was really good with doing my best, trying hard and, not giving up and things of that nature. And so having the right, I guess, attitude to be on a team at that level, I had that at a younger age. But I was, again, around girls a lot older than me all the time. And they didn't always like when the little young girl was getting, attention or the time, their playing time, things like that. So, but I'm happy I went through that experience because obviously full circle, when I'm now working with young players and I identify when somebody's young and very talented, I talk to them about what that experience is, what they should expect. But then also if I'm the coach of them and have the other older girls that are also participating on the team, I explain to everybody why it's so important that everybody understand their role on the team and feel good about what that is and not think that somebody is taking, quote unquote, taking their time or taking their opportunity away from them. If the opportunity is yours to earn and do the best at what that is. And if it's not necessarily playing and scoring, then maybe it's being a leader on the bench. Maybe it's just understanding that you can bring a positive influence to that younger player. And there's way more to life than just that basketball moment. Being able to teach young people that is important. And for them being able to embrace that is important because we all know it's true. But as adults, some adults still don't get it, but that's we know that's true, right? But if a younger person is able to embrace it and then now be able to live out their life, just look at how many productive citizens we're helping to put on the planet, to be on the planet.
Yeah. So you've spoken about the importance of mentorship. I want to talk about self-esteem and owning your own voice and story. How are you using your voice to tell your story?
It's intentional because I've learned that if I don't, who will? If I've been given a platform or given an opportunity to make an impact, to make a difference, and I don't, I'm basically telling God that I'm not trying to do what He's purposed me to do. I'm really not trying to tell God that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not. And so, so to just, I guess, understand your purpose and your call and help somebody else understand the responsibility with that. When I started one of my youth programs with my nonprofit, I would tell young girls that you're different for a reason, and you're going to get opportunities that others in your peer group may not have, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And I also, specifically with my tall girls, I always tell them that you have to own the fact that people are going to be always seeing you, always watching you. You know, I tell the joke that like you can't pick your nose because somebody is about to see you just pick your nose. Some random person because they're looking at you.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but it's a real thing, and to not feel self-conscious about that when somebody's staring at you, and they will, just smile.
Yeah.
Just smile. If they say something that's weird or inappropriate, you can just bring it to their attention that that was inappropriate. And I would hope that in the future, maybe you would say X, Y, and Z, you know, because the comment of, boy, you sure are tall. You are sure, you are so tall. How am I supposed to really respond to that?
Right.
We're literally doing this whole Tall Girls United conference around that kind of conversation. And it's not going to be just for us to help with strategies and tools. We want our height challenged brothers and sisters to know as well, to hear the dialogue, to know the challenges so that maybe they can respond in a better way.
To be allies.
And yeah, and I don't even know if it's an ally, but just to be more aware of, and aware for themselves. Why did I just say that? Did I say that because I didn't have anything else to say? Is there something else about that individual that I probably wanted to say but didn't? No, couldn't find the words or the voice. So going back to when you say having a voice, I also feel like it's my responsibility to help others with theirs, to have the tools, the understanding, the self-awareness. I've been using that term a lot in my coaching practice. Is when you're self-aware, not only do you realize something within yourself, but then you also are practically applying something that you've learned in your toolbox as well. So I didn't want to really spin it into another.
No, that's so good. So good. Y'all, I wish I had more time with Coach Leah, because you can already tell not only is she wearing a beautiful purple hat, but she wears so many different hats. She is an expert in so many different levels and an advocate and can speak on so many different topics, which only means what? She has to come back and share with us again, right? Yes? Absolutely, yes. But before she leaves this time, we have to ask her the one question we ask every guest. As you continue to pray and seek the Lord on the next phase of your joy journey, would you dare share your hope? I will specifically ask, as you all are planning for this year's Talls United Conference, what is your hope for the conference for this year, and where you hope for it to grow over the next 5 years?
Excellent question, and thank you for asking that. For this year, because our mission is really simple, to unite tall girls and women and tall girls and women organizations, not just nationally, but globally, right? We're not really trying to be a membership organization ourselves. We just want to be kind of a mechanism to unite others, to help with strategies, and maybe a hub for where people can kind of voice their thoughts, and then be able to have other people that are tall, women and girls, to then say, oh, I'm definitely not the only one. And oh, that's how that's how they handled that challenge. I'm going to try that. Or that's where they bought those really cute jeans that didn't come up above their ankle. I'm shopping there. Or, oh, that person over there has a furniture line that I can actually go into the store and know that it's going to be excellent quality, and they're going to have something that works in my home, that I want things taller and higher. And we can get into a whole nother conversation about that
Okay.
another time. This year, we for sure want to just get our name and our organization out there, Tall Girls United. You can go to tallgirlsunited.com to just kind of learn about more about us and any of our events and activities. Our brunches, our local brunches are amazing. We're going to have the ultimate brunch when we get to Dallas for our upcoming conference. And so we want people to attend that. We want everyone to attend that, not just tall women. We consider that, for sure, if you're a tall woman, come and find your tribe.
Yeah.
Because we're here, right? But we, again, want to invite others that will see what's catering the tall women that we can, and then now I will use the word ally, and, help to advocate and be an ally for our tall sisters, right?
Absolutely.
So there's that. Over the next few years, we want to build out our mentoring program where we are going to be selecting through my Diamond in the Rough Colloquium and Diamond in the Rough Fellowship young girls that are between the ages of 12 and 16 that are already 6 foot tall. Both my daughters were that.
Wow.
They're adults now. Chelsea is my eldest daughter. She's 6'3". My youngest daughter, Monet, is 6'4.5".
Okay.
But when they were 12, they were already 6 foot tall.
Wow.
And so I feel like they were fortunate to have me as their mom. And then I still surrounded them around other tall women intentionally because I wanted them to not have to just hear from their mom how to feel good in their space and in their body, but others that are tall as well. But we really want to, through our fellowship, embrace our tall little sisters and then match them with who? Other tall women that are professionals that want to hold space for them, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm excited, super excited about that. I literally, as I was coming to this interview, a friend of mine out of Coach Joseph Foster out of Columbus, Georgia, one of the most prolific sports or basketball scouts and directors. I want to say globally. I'm gonna for sure in this country, nationally, but globally, he's very well known. Sent me a video of a is she 12 or 13, and she's 6'5".
Wow.
So she is somebody who definitely we want to be able to embrace because,
absolutely.
I have a goddaughter out of New York. Her name is Lisa Blair, and she's 6'8". I met her when she was 12, and when she was 6'2" at 12. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like we know that these young girls out here could benefit from having mentors. And it's not even about just basketball. This is, we want to embrace any young person and any woman doing anything.
Absolutely.
And we know that a lot of us are in athletics or played basketball. And so we'll kind of start there and then grow our base from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much. If you have been inspired or if you are a tall or want to learn more, some tall girls or women that need to be involved, need the community, please, please, please reach out. How can they, if they need mentorship and they want to reach out directly to you, how can they get in touch with you more directly?
Very good. So I'm getting better with Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
And you can follow me at Coach Leah 40.
Okay.
So Coach CoachLeah 40 on both Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
You can go to Tall Girls United on Instagram. But they say now we on the gram. We on the gram. And that's tall_girls with an S_united. So that's where we are on Instagram. Or you can just obviously put it in the search engine. Our cute little logo with a giraffe whose head is sticking out of the emblem.
Okay.
That's us. The giraffe is our spirit animal. So
I love it.
yeah, and then just really quick, my website is where you can learn more about the fellowship. So that's coachleah.net, basketball, NET. And when you go there, you can find anything that has to do with the Diamonds in the Rough Fellows, any of our past Diamond in the Rough alum, as well as any of the rest of our programs. There, you just click on the programs, and then there's a chat bubble. You can always just talk to me directly there as well.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I told y'all. She has her hand in everything and is doing great, great work. Everything she mentioned will be in the description of this video. So please do everything you can to support her great work. If you have been inspired, please be sure to like, share, and share this video. Leave a comment in the video and subscribe to the channel. And until we gather again every single Thursday, may God increase your joy, grant you strength for the journey, and give you the courage to tell your story. Bye, friends.